Hi, gang, it's JT.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, things are getting curiouser and curiouser with questions and PeterPanswers Travel Edition. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick, look at that horse. Look at that horse. Look at that horse. Look at that horse. Kazuki.
What'd you call me? Wait, what is that? What is that from? Is that from something?
Oh, come on, Patrick. What? That is from the song Sweet Honey Buckin'.
Oh, of course.
From Cowboy Carter.
Yeah. Ryan and I talked about the album last time on the pod, and
yes.
I'm not like off book for it for karaoke, but I am celebrating it. JT Wilderness Explorer Landry.
Oh my! I'm feeling up on that description.
Well done. Well,
thank you. Are you still in your Cowboy Carter era, Patrick?
I think I will be for a very long time.
Yeah, I will be until at least this coming Friday, because by the time our listeners hear this, I will have entered my tortured poet era.
Oh, dear.
So count your lucky stars that we're not recording this next weekend, because you would have probably gotten a very extensively long new Taylor Swift lyric intro. It's actually coming the next time, but just,
Fair.
You have a little bit of reprieve.
I promise you, I still will have no idea what it is.
Okay, that's fair. How are you, Patrick? Let's just
jump right into it. We're gonna skip past Taylor Swift. I'm good. You know what? I'm actually really good. I'm on.
Oh, good.
I feel like I'm on a really good trajectory right now. I'm feeling spring has sprung. The windows are open in Minnesota.
All right.
Things are popping up in the gardens. It's lovely, and I'm feeling like I'm in a good mental space right now. I'm trying to keep track of my health lately, getting a little bit more active. I'm getting ready right now. So full disclosure, we're recording this early yet again. I feel like you and I always do early episodes, which one of us is going to be out of town. And so we're like a week ahead of time in which we would normally record. But when this episode drops, I'll still be in Walt Disney World for the Springtime Surprise Run Disney weekend. So I've been training for that. Just feeling good all around, I'm in a good spot.
And I didn't know we were recording early. That was not a springtime surprise. I didn't know.
You're aware of the recording calendar.
I'm aware of the recording calendar. Now, Patrick, I'm so curious because it's like I love wellness journeys. How are you being more active? Are you getting back now that it's warmer? Are you back? Are you getting outside? Are you staying inside? Or are you doing yoga? Are you doing Pilates? Are you running? Or are you deadlifting?
All of it. No. Okay. So running, obviously, that's still on my agenda, and I just signed up for the 2025 marathon weekend, so I'll be even upping that even more. But I've started adding more daily, push-ups and just some weight training a little bit. Come on. Just to cross train, I guess, a little bit. Is that what the
cross training?
I know the terms.
That's what the kids are calling it.
That's right.
Cross training.
Just something to feel a little bit better. I'm a big fan of just add a little bit at a time, make it a habit, and then add on as you want. So that's where I am right now.
Isn't that the whole Atomic Habits thing where you, if you want to have if you want to adopt a healthy habit, or I guess this works for any kind of habit, good or bad, you start incrementally.
Yeah.
And then it gradually
Yeah.
Gets easier and easier.
It's just like with running, like when you are trying to do distance running, you can't just start at 10 miles, right? You start at a mile and the next week do 2 miles. The next week would, keep adding and subtracting until you get to where you want to be. It's not going to happen overnight. And so as long as you're aware of that, I feel like for me, it gets me into a healthier mental state where I'm not failing a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just building instead of failing. Yeah.
The endorphins kick in.
There you
It's a physiological response.
That's right. For now, anyways, it's mental health is a journey that is never an even keel. It's up and down.
With many highways and byways.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Many turnoffs, many exit and on ramps.
Yes, 100%.
Detours.
So many detours.
So many detours.
How are you, my friend?
I am doing pretty well. I'm going to give myself a 7.9 out of 10.
Anything above a 5 is a victory.
It truly is.
In my opinion. So that's good. I'm happy for you. I think the fact that we're getting warmer weather is helping. Yes.
It's like spring outside, the sun is shining. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
For me anyway, until we get to like July and I'm like, please let me move to the Arctic Circle.
I know. Like
where
as
it's
a
dark and cold.
Yeah. We get like 3 weeks of good, happy weather. And then the rest is like, I hate this.
No, but it's good. I've had a lovely weekend. I too have been getting outside, taking lots of hot girl walks.
Good for you.
Yeah. Had a nice weekend. Did a little movie doubleheader with a friend of mine yesterday. And it was good. We watched one and then we had a little taco break. And then we went and watched another.
I love that. Well, I need to know now what movies you watched.
Oh, of course. I guess that would make sense. I feel like one of our Tweedles who just gives half-baked information in their celebration. We saw La Chimera.
Oh, I have no idea what that is, but okay.
It is this, I think it's a foreign language film, I think from Italy.
Okay.
Because it takes place in Tuscany, and it's with Josh O'Connor, who played Prince Charles in season 3 and 4 of The Crown.
Yes.
He plays this English archaeologist. Yes, archaeologist. Who basically has a little group of people, and he raids Etruscan tombs and sells the what they call the grave goods on the black market.
Okay,
but he's also sort of searching for his lost love.
Got it.
In the Tuscan countryside.
Okay, so it's Indiana Jones under the Tuscan sun.
Yeah, it's like Indiana Jones, but like make it a little twee and like an indie and slightly maybe a little Italian emo.
Great.
Not really emo. Emo makes it sound like it's Fall Out Boy, which it's not. But you know what I mean.
Either way, I'm interested. Either way.
Yeah, Isabella Rossellini is in it too.
Ooh, I love her.
Yes, and then the second movie we saw was Civil War.
How's that?
Kirsten Dunst. It is incredibly intense.
Yeah.
And I would say we had this discussion afterwards. We weren't quite sure if the movie fully made its point or even fully understood what point it was trying to make.
Okay.
It's almost like it doesn't really solidify. You kind of get the feeling of what it's trying to say, and which side is right, and which is, or maybe it's trying to say that, I don't know. Part of me wonders if it was trying to both sides it, which I don't love. But it's just, I don't think it's a fully baked idea, but it's incredibly intense. But it's very well made.
Yeah.
Just, I will say, incredibly intense, and considering the fact that we're nearing an election, also it works as like a horror movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's timely.
It was it was terrifying to watch. Like I kind of left feeling like it took me about, I would say, an hour and a half to kind of get like the weird, horrific feeling out of me.
Yeah, fair enough. Which I love. I expect that from an A24 movie, which is the company that produces all these.
Yes,
really,
absolutely.
Beyond like cerebral movies that make you go, what did I just see right now, and why did I just see it? I don't really know. So, okay, good to know. A ringing endorsement. I feel like, because I like movies that make me feel that way. Of like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, I think you should go see. I mean, anybody I think that likes to kind of think about that and think about a movie after and want to have like a really like in depth like discussion about movies and you want to like have think and have like sort of a debate about something. I think this is a really good one to go see. For
nice,
sure.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
But this is a Disney podcast.
Sure.
And none of the scenes, spoiler alert, none of the scenes take place in a Disney park.
Got it. Noted. Okay,
So,
we have to move on
yeah.
then. We have to move on.
We have to move on.
Well, we have to move on to something very exciting because it's been a while since we had a new Patreon member join our family.
I know we've been like thirsting in the desert for Patreon members. Where are they?
We're thirsty for Patreon members. But Jonathan has recently joined our Patreon family. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And he appears later in our episode because he's already on top of it. He's already sent us in a question for questions to PeterPanswers. Well done, Jonathan. You're already just deep into
Go to the head of the class.
The GDTD. Yeah. Family. Head of the class.
I mean,
for
he basically saved GDTD this week.
100%. 100%.
I mean, we were on the brink of collapse.
It's true. Even though we produce it for free, basically. We don't pay ourselves. Yeah. But now we can pay
thanks to the patronage of Jonathan.
Right. Now we can pay our platform fees. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Jonathan. And thank you to all of our Patreon family members. For those of you who are not yet a Patreon member but want to be, head on over to our website, which is, I almost said www. Who says www anymore before something?
People that are old.
Fair.
Actually, Patrick, why don't you go? You should have said https://
Yeah, go onto the World Wide Web. Go put in your America Online disk, let that modem boot up, and then go to go to gazedothed.com, click on the donate button, and for as little as $1 reoccurring a month, you too can join our family, just like Jonathan has done. And in return, we are supplying extra episodes of Gaze Do the D called Gaze Do the D Raw and Uncut, where we just sort of talk about whatever's in our mind. Is it Disney? Who knows? Is it just what we're going to talk about that day? Beyonce? Sure. Taylor Swift? Why not? You never know what you're going to get with a Gaze Do the D Raw and Uncut episode. And then you also get invited to our monthly happiest hour on Zoom recordings. Not a recording. It's just a live hangout that we do together as a group where we just talk as a family, as a Patreon family. We do some trivia sometimes. It's fun. It's a gay old time.
It is a gay old time. So yeah, I don't know what I subscribe. I mean,
smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button. But thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Kudos, Mama, for subscribing, supporting.
No. That is the.
I had to throw that one in there.
Around the world, it is the best, and she's taking it with grace.
So great. I know, it's truly. But while we're on that, Patrick, who are you rooting for?
Ooh, we're talking about Drag Race right now, just in case you don't know, the newest season. If you're not caught up, I'm sorry, skip ahead. We won't talk about this for 1 minute, tops.
Even under that.
I am a big fan of Nymphia Wind. I think that she's fantastic, and so I kind of hope that she wins. What about you?
I think Plain Jane is I just feel like overall she's had maybe the best season. I think she might be the most versatile of the queens, at least from a performance standpoint.
Yeah.
And like, just like, I don't know. I like Nymphia a lot. I feel like you didn't really get to know her until that podcast episode.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally, 100%. But I think that she definitely earned her spot where she is
for sure.
Right now.
Absolutely. It's the right top three. Although I do wish Plasma was in there.
Yeah, but I support this top three.
Oh, of course.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll soon find out.
We will. Do you know who else I support? JT?
Who?
The
Me?
thousands, well, you too as well, but the thousands of Tweedles who are celebrating this week. This was our biggest I'm celebrating ever, and I'm
amazing.
So excited. Yeah.
Is April like National Celebration Month?
Apparently, and I'm into it. I'm invested.
I'm into it.
I'm interested. Do you want to kick us off into I'm celebrating?
Would love to kick us off. At C_Ross22_ ending the 2023-2024 Run Disney season with the 10K and 10 mile at Springtime Surprise, and celebrating all the accomplishments and progress I have made in this journey.
Oh, I love that.
I do too. I mean, like that's such an accomplishment. I mean, even like just to even like get out and run 5 steps is an accomplishment.
Fair.
To do anything. I mean, and like this is. I mean, I know. I mean, I don't know this personally because I don't run marathons, but all my friends who run marathons have talked about just the experience of just like training and like the journey you go on and things that you didn't think you were able to accomplish that you can accomplish. So yeah, kudos to that.
Kudos, mama.
Kudos, mama, for running, for being active.
No, well done.
Are we gonna? Do you want to do that for every one of these? Do you want to try to come up with something for every one of these?
Kudos for running, for spilling. Kudos
for
to you.
spilling. Kudos, mama, for running, for marathoning.
Oh dear. Moving.
Okay.
Our next kudos is to that sugar guy who is celebrating my birthday and not
Happy
not
birthday.
my birthday. He's celebrating his own birthday. So happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
That sugar guy. Kudos, mama, for your birthday.
For being born, for emerging.
Oh dear. It's gonna be a long episode. We can't. We have to stop it.
At Mrs. Melanie 23. Melanie. We know her. My fiance turning 50 and him aging like the very finest of wines.
Oh.
Can confirm, Tweedles, can confirm.
Oh. Calm down over there. Well done.
Kudos, mama, for aging.
Kudos, mama,
for
and
growing.
Papa. Kudos, papa.
And papa, yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, love it. Love. I still have yet to meet this fiance.
Oh, my gosh, that's right. You do.
It'll happen eventually, I'm sure.
Come on down to Nashville.
Moving on, we have at KDevo11 celebrating spring concert, music banquet, musical, Wonka Jr., all being done soon. Girl, kudos, mama, for all that music.
Yes. Kudos, mama, for singing, for directing.
And well, yeah, I was going to say directing all those children's because that is a job.
Because, and a half. And a half.
Well done.
Yes. At Steve Achu, the commentary below is directed at me, and I sense it. Referring to that is of course referring to us saying that you can also send celebrations by sliding into our DMs. So this isn't really a celebration. This is just an understand. This is more of a conviction. I think Steve Achu felt convicted at the fact that he was not being forthcoming in his celebrations as much as he should be. So. That's right. Kudos, mama, for confessing.
Yes.
For chewing.
Yeah. Kudos to Chew for sliding into our DM chews.
Yes.
Well done. Well done.
Excuse me. Wait. What is it? What are we calling that now?
Oh, our Donna Murphys.
our Donna Murphys.
Slide into our Donna Murphys. Well done.
Oh, yes.
Next up we have at Boy Who Has Everything, celebrating just booked Wilderness Lodge for June, ready to melt my Minnesota butt off.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Now, is that just because it's going to be a lot hotter down there?
Yeah. Well, that's so humid. Like, I mean, it gets hot here, but like the Florida weather is
like
outlandish.
swampy. It's swampy.
It is swampy.
Well, kudos, mama, for traveling, for melting. At Richard B354, surviving a hectic work week.
That's all. Enough said.
Listen, I feel that so deeply in my bones. Yes. Yeah.
We have at Adam_runs_Disney celebrating going to run the Run Disney Springtime Surprise Challenge. So that's a 5K, the 10K, and the 10 mile. I'll see you there, hopefully, Adam.
Everybody's springtime surprising.
I mean, run Disney for springtime, groundbreaking. At
Tinkerbear82, finishing my second half marathon. All you runners.
Well done. And also, I think that's my favorite name so far is Tinkerbear82.
Tinkerbear
I love it.
Is amazing.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Well done.
Love it.
Kudos, mama, for your
Kudos, mama, for being creative. We have at run.dive.jwr celebrating closing out a great trip to Hawaii. Oh, I love that. Aloha to you. Welcome back. Did you see Lilo?
Or Stitch?
What island did you go to?
Oh, I can't remember. They told us last time and now I can't remember. But
were they at Alani?
It was one of them.
Okay.
I don't know. We need more information.
Yeah.
Slide into our Donna Murphys.
Yes. At paging _Mr. _Olives. purchasing/ordering before the birds sing words. Can't wait to read. Thanks for the rec. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome. And this is the Jonathan who just became our new Patreon member. So, on top of it. Jonathan is on top of things.
Teacher's pet. And we love it.
We love it. Absolutely. Moving on, we have at Andy Heath, puppeteer, celebrating getting back into a healthier lifestyle after winter drudgery. Same.
Yep,
you
same.
read my mind.
Same. At PJW_@_WDW, buying Broadway tickets this week for my first ever NYC trip into the month for my birthday.
Amazing.
I love this for you so much.
Yeah. What did you purchase?
What shows you're going to see. Like slide into our Donna Murphy's, we will give you all of the food recommendations, everything you need to do for your first NYC trip.
True story.
So excited for you.
Yeah, have so much fun. And then last but not least...
And give our regards to Broadway.
Give our regards to Broadway. We have at Hibdande celebrating getting a ticket to Disneyland after Dark Pride Night. Fellow Tweedles, hit me up if you'll be there. There you go. Yes, at Hibdande. Hit up at Hibdande if you are also going to be at Pride Night. Well done.
Hit up Hib. Slide into his Donna Murphy's.
Slide into his Donna Murphy's. Amazing. What a great week for celebrations.
Oh my gosh.
Well
yes.
done, everybody.
Patrick, what are you celebrating?
What am I celebrating? I'm celebrating, of course, I'm packing and getting ready to go to Walt Disney World this week to see my lovely, lovely friends and run the Springtime Surprise Challenge with them. What about you?
I love that.
Thanks.
I am celebrating... What did you say? Thank you.
Thank you.
I am celebrating... my choir is doing a concert in about 3 weeks at this big, beautiful symphony hall here in Nashville. Because we're celebrating our 20th anniversary. And we're doing a joint concert with the Nashville Philharmonic, who is celebrating their 20th anniversary. Wow. And we are doing a piece that's like a tribute to Matthew Shepard.
Oh, wow.
That the lyrics are directly taken from his journal entries.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
And then we're doing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony with the orchestra. Yeah.
Wow. One of my favorite pieces. Amazing.
That is the Ode to Joy Symphony for
yes,
those.
It is.
It's the original, the OG sister act to Back in the Habit finale.
Good reference. Good reference. Which makes it gay. So that's why.
Which makes it gay. Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Well, awesome. Congratulations, everybody, and to you and me for our lovely celebrations this week. What do we have up next, JT? Oh, some listener feedback.
Yeah, we have some listener feedback.
Amaze.
Which is always very exciting.
It is. I love when folks write into us. Who do we have up first?
Me too. Well, first up, Patrick, we have at Fun Jeff. And he says, "Hi guys, I loved the chat on queer representation in Strange World and how it is part of everyday life, unquote. I completely agree that they incorporated the subplot very well. However," I knew there was a however coming. Yes. I do think we are way overdue for a primary queer love story. Amen. I'm talking The Little Mermaid, where Ariel falls in love with Princess Erica. Ooh. My husband and I deserve to have characters to relate to beyond Chip and Dale, who aren't even queer that we know of. Yeah. We as a community deserve Beau and the Beast,
Ooh.
Aladdin and Prince Jaya. Jaya. Either one. Cinderella and her princess, and dare I say, Elsa and her lady friend of the north. Yes. I will be there for that Scandinavian love story. Disney, correct. Be bold. Stand up to the backlash. Take the financial hit for the sake of progress. Tell our stories, too.
You better preach.
Kudos, Mama.
Kudos for spilling.
For spilling. For sharing.
No, yeah. I mean, we talk about this all the time. We're absolutely with you in lockstep on that. It just, yes. The Strange World made a big step forward for sure, but we do. Now it's time to get some main characters who actually do have a love story in a Disney movie.
Yeah. Now I want Beau and the Beast.
I mean, I think we need to write it. Or is GDTD writing?
He
books
might be.
Now? Is JT writing books? Is GDTD writing books?
Is it Beau and the Beast, a GDTD fairy tale?
Oh, I like it. We might have to do this. Okay, it's happening. We need some artwork though from all of our listeners.
Oh, yeah, we do. And I know we have listeners who are artists. So
we sure do.
Get to getting.
Get on it. All right. Well, thank you at Fun Jeff. Moving on, we have a voice memo, which we haven't had in a very long time, from one of our Patreon members at Andy Heath Puppeteer. Are you ready to listen in?
Yes, I love to listen to Andy talk.
We never know what he's going to say, so buckle up, everybody.
Hi guys, Andy from the UK here. I just wanted to say a quick hi and also add 2 supporting female characters to your list from the other week. The first one is Mad Madam Mim from Sword in the Stone. She is a brilliant character, completely camp, utterly unhinged and crazy, and beautifully animated. So that's the first one. And the other one was the Handmaiden, and I can't remember her name, from the recent Aladdin live-action film. She's another one who came in and stole every scene she was in, either with a look or with a great one-liner. Anyway, that's it. Keep up the good work. We love you. We adore you. And yeah, have a great week. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Well, we adore you as well.
And we adore hearing him talk. I love every time we get to hear Andy talk.
Yes, we do. Mad Madam Mim. I mean, come on. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I can't believe we missed her.
She is a total unhinged, just incredible character.
Yeah. And we're of course referencing 2 episodes ago in which Kale and I discussed who our Fab 5 female non-leading ladies are.
Yeah, Patrick, it takes a little bit longer for our episodes to travel the telegraph lines over the Atlantic.
Yes, that's true. It's true. And from Aladdin, her name is not Nassim.
I can't remember.
Nassim Pedrad, who used to be on Saturday Night Live for a while.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
who played the handmaid Dahlia? Was that her name?
I think that feels right.
Okay.
And if it feels right, it probably is.
Must
right.
be correct.
It must be correct.
Yeah. Also, 100% agreed. She stole every scene she was in. She was great.
Yeah, but that's Nazim Pedrad. She's going to steal
So funny.
whatever. I know. I can't believe. Like, I loved her on SNL, and
she was great on SNL. She was great on The New Girl when she joined the cast of The New Girl. So
that's
funny.
Right. Yeah. Love her. Love her so much.
Well done. Well, thank you, Andy, for giving us your voice. In a voice memo. We love hearing. When our Tweedles.
We do.
Speak out to us. So
yes, and send us your voicemails. You don't have to have an English accent to send in a voicemail.
Sing out, Louise. Sing out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on, before we get into the news, JT, we have This Week in Disney History. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. 60 years ago, JT, on April 22nd, 1964, the World's Fair opened in Flushing, New York. The fair featured over 100 pavilions with roughly 92,000 people visiting on just that first day. JT, my question to you is, what 4 major attractions were exhibited by Disney at this World's Fair?
Okay. It's a Small World.
Correct.
The Ford Motor Skyway.
Ooh, do you know what the actual name of it is? Like the full...
Oh, goodness. I don't.
Replace the word motor with a different word.
Ford Auto? No, that's not
What
right.
would Disney call it?
Autopia? No.
It starts with an M as well.
The Ford Mobile? No, that's not right. The Ford...
I'll give you the point. I'll give you the point. Okay.
Just tell me.
It was the Ford Magic Skyway.
Ford Magic Skyway. Okay. Okay, so we've got It's a Small World, Ford Magic Skyway.
Yes.
I know, yeah. There's one that I feel like was sponsored by Coca-Cola.
I think Small World was Pepsi, actually. I think.
Pepsi, okay. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, so the Ford, It's a Small World.
And these last 2 are in Disney parks.
Carousel of Progress.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding.
And, oh my gosh.
Featured heavily in the book that we just read.
Yeah. Oh yes, of course. Okay. Oh my God. Oh God. I can't think of it. I'm having like a brain block.
It is Great Moments with
Mr. Lincoln.
Correct. Ding, ding. Not 3 dings. Just 2 dings. Ding, ding.
Just 2 dings. Which was sponsored by the state of Illinois.
Was it? Oh, I didn't know that.
And yeah, and I can't remember who sponsored Carousel of Progress.
It was me, actually. I did.
You did. the Kazuki family
You're very welcome.
presents.
What a big year! What a big year for them, though. Like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
big heavy hitters. Like the world changed, Disney changed because of all the progress they made. It's incredible. Read the book before the birds sang words, because you'll learn a lot about all the things that went into it, and it could be a separate book. What all went into
Truly.
the World's Fair as well.
We'll write that one after we write Beau and the Beast.
Love it. On top of it. All right, moving on. Our second piece of This Week in Disney History. 30 years ago, JT, on April 24th, 1994, this actor and singer was born in Birmingham, Alabama. Some credits include Teen Beach Movie, which I know you've seen many times. Teen Beach 2, which you've seen many times as well. Liv
Not as many
Maddie.
as OG Teen Beach.
Fair. Liv and Maddie. Do you need me to go on with more credits, or do you know who it is yet?
I think I know.
Okay. Do you want to guess?
Is it a he?
It is
Did you say
he.
he?
Yes.
Is it Garrett Clayton?
It is not Garrett
Okay.
Clayton. Okay, so moving on, more credits include appearing in an episode, or maybe one or two episodes, of High School Musical, the series. He was also the winner on season 25 of Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
Do you know who it is yet?
Is it Corbin Blue?
It is not, but that's a good guess.
Oh, okay.
So speaking of, some Broadway credits of this actor include Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen, and Hadestown. And then the last two clues will definitely, you'll know who it is after I...
Jordan Fisher.
It is Jordan Fisher. Ding, ding, ding. So the last two were going to be, he was a featured vocalist alongside Angie Kielhauer for Disney's Nighttime Spectacular, Happily Ever After. And of course, he was a member of Four Town in the movie Turning Red.
Yes. Happily Ever After, perhaps his greatest achievement to date.
I mean, I love that song so much.
So much. It just makes me feel things.
It does. Even just hearing it, I'm like, okay,
yes.
I'm so
I know.
hearing it right now. I'm so emotional.
Did you mention? Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I would say, did you mention Sweeney Todd in his Broadway credits?
I did not, but yes, he was in Sweeney Todd as well. I would have loved to see him on Broadway. I'm obsessed with Jordan Fisher. I feel like I know that he's in a loving relationship, and I think that they have a kid now or whatever it is. But I don't care. I would. He's on my list for sure.
You know, if we're in a multiverse, Patrick, maybe there's another universe in this multiverse of madness where the two of you are together.
I you know what? If that's all I can get, just thinking about that, then that's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see him at Pride Night in the parks, which we're about to talk about in the news. So maybe you have a little news segment for me in which Jordan Fisher appears.
Maybe.
Okay. Stay tuned, everybody.
This just in. Patrick. Your guide to Pride is nigh.
Ooh.
I thought about that one last night.
I like it.
So Patrick, especially for our Tweedles that already have tickets, and for those of you that are still thinking of getting tickets because they are still available as of this recording.
Yes.
We are not behind the 8 ball on this.
We're near it. We're next to it.
We're near it, but Disney Parks has released details about what you can expect if you're going to attend this year's Disneyland After Dark Pride Night. Patrick, it's great to have this event back for the second year in a row. And, it sounds like they've plussed out a little bit. And since tickets are still available, because they sold out pretty quickly last year and they're still available as of this recording. So maybe they also expanded capacity.
Could be. Yeah.
This year, of course, is on June 18th and 20th. The evening is going to kick off with a special Pride Night fireworks welcome and a welcome Pride cavalcade with the Sensational Six plus LGBTQ plus icon Clarabelle Cow.
I love it.
I feel like Clarabelle needs to be just part of that group, and so they need to change. They need a new name for like the 7 of them. Like I don't know if it's like the sexy set, not the sexy 7, but like. Because I don't want to refer to Pluto as sexy. But
some might think you don't know.
Yeah,
that's that.
Yeah, maybe like the Splendid 7 or
sure.
the Magnificent 7.
I like
I
it.
don't know.
I like it.
Anyway, if shaking that thing is your thing, you can head over to the Pride Night Dance Club along the rivers of America, or to Stitch's Ohana Dance Party in Tomorrowland, where you can boogie to songs that celebrate Ohana or family. If you're still in your Cowboy Carter phase, and who won't be, you can line dance at the Golden Horseshoe. Of course, Patrick, no Park's party is complete without party snacks, and Pride Night will feature lots of snacks, including some new ones, a key lime pudding that is new, and a red berry sangria at Riverbell Terrace, both of those at Riverbell Terrace, a 5-spice popcorn chicken at Tropical Hideaway. I got a little more excited when I was reading about this, and at first I just saw 5-spice popcorn, and that sounded really, really good. Yeah. But popcorn chicken is great too. At Tropical Hideaway, I love Tropical Hideaway, by the way. It's a great little spot. They have firecracker loaded fries at Hungry Bear.
Of course.
That's just to name a few. for all those hungry bears out there. And Plaza Inn will have a dining package with reserved fireworks and cavalcade viewing that you have to, of course, reserve ahead of time. And yes, there will be lots of photo opportunities throughout the night to give your gram some wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. And of course, you can also get in 3 hours early at 6 p.m. for a pre-party mix-in at the park. And I love a pre-party mix-in before I go to a party. Yeah. Any party. Any pre-party. Right. Any party you're going to in the park's real life, you should always do a pre-party mix-in.
You got a pre-game. Absolutely. Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Yeah, this is I'm so bummed that we can't be there this year. Hopefully they'll bring it back year after year, and hopefully they'll expand it a little more as well. I wish that they would do it in DCA as well, like maybe do it one night in Disneyland and one night in DCA. That's maybe a little bit more adult or something, and maybe keep the Disneyland like Family Pride Day at Disneyland, and then maybe DCA would be more of an adult event. I don't know.
I like that thought.
Thank you.
I like that thought. I also, it would be fun if they could do like a World Pride at Epcot.
I mean, yes, from your lips to Mickey's ears, that needs to happen for sure.
Yeah.
Soon. Hopefully after this year, like Disney World will wake up and go, okay, we have to follow suit, because it got great reviews last year. Everybody loved it. And I don't think anyone that I know who went had anything bad to say about it. I think they all were like, it was fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
No notes.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Well, moving on, JT, speaking of Epcot, actually, so what seems like many decades ago, we announced on the pod that Test Track in Epcot would be undergoing a reimagining, and it sounds like Disney has finally announced a closure for this June 17th to begin the work on this reimagining. So it's finally happening. It's official. Recent concept art shows a newer and sleeker entrance to the attraction, so that big awning, I think, is going to go away, and it'll just be a nice open pavilion. It also shows at least part of the track is still going to be outdoors. So they are not, from what it looks like, they're not changing the outdoor section of it. They may retheme it a little bit, but it'll still be at least partly outdoors. Details around what the full reimagining are still very limited. All we know is that current plans include inspiration from the previous attraction World of Motion. Concept art indicates maybe a potential journey back in time and an exploration of transportation throughout history. So hopefully more details will be announced soon, but your last chance to ride Test Track in its current condition will be June 16th. So coming up very quickly, actually.
So we're basically just going back to what this originally was, plus a really fast drive around the track at the end.
Who can say? Who knows? The concept art actually looks really sleek and interesting. So hopefully this will be a really nice plus to it. And it's been, 20 years or so since Test Track originally opened. And so I think it's time, obviously, that we get a little bit of a retheming. It's pretty dated, in my opinion.
I don't really... It's one at this point I kind of skip.
Yeah. Same here. Like if it's available, it's like, oh, okay, it is kind of fun. But anytime Disney does something that's like, this is the future, it's obsolete in 4 years. You know, like it's okay, this is gone now. We don't need this anymore. So
yeah, it's interesting. They never quite seem to learn their lesson on that one.
I know. It's just like stay in the now, Disney. Stay in the now or in the past. Like you're actually a little bit better at doing the past than you are the future.
I was gonna say, do like what they did in Disneyland Paris, where it's like an intentional. 1800s view of the future. It's like a Jules Verne view of the future.
Jules Verne, the future. Yeah. Go to that classic. This is what the future looks like, and shoot for beyond the moon, because we're already at the moon. So
we're already at the moon.
Where else can you go?
Shoot for Uranus. That's on Pride Night.
No. Moving on.
Okay. Patrick,
Yas Queen.
you are going to Walt Disney World in just a matter of days. In fact, you will be there
Yes.
when this
Yes.
episode drops.
If we're test track future planning, then I am
Yes.
already in.
You're already
Walt Disney
there.
World right now.
You are already there. Surprise. But because you're going really soon, and because I am having FOMO, we thought it would be fun to do sort of a hybrid discussion and questions and Peter-Panswers sesh on Disney travel as an adult.
It's true. It's true.
Notice that I said Disney travel as an adult and not adult Disney travel, because that sounds like two different things.
Very different things. Yeah, it's true. It's true. We talk about travel a lot on this podcast, but sort of in passing. But we also have like Chris from Wishful Thinking will come on and tell us about travel planning and what to expect too. But we never really dig into like, what do we love to do when we travel to the Disney parks? It's a question that is most frequently asked, I think, by our tweetles of like, give us a recommendation, or where should I stay away from? What might be a good place to go as a Disney adult gay as well? And so we thought we'd ask each other some questions about how we used to travel when we started going to the parks in the first place, and how that's evolved since then, which I think could be an interesting, because we didn't know each other, obviously, when we first started going to the parks, but then we stared going to the parks together, and now, you know what I mean? So things have changed. Things are strange.
You've changed. You're different in the parks. I was going to say, like, how we travel today in the parks is, I know it's very different from how I traveled when I started traveling to the parks as an adult, and I know it is for you too.
Same, yeah.
So it might be good, Patrick, because it's always best to know where you've been to know where you're going. So
yes, it is. It is.
So, Patrick, what was your first trip to a Disney park as a legal adult?
Very good. Discerning question there.
Like, which park did you go? How long were you there? What prompted the trip? Like, all that good stuff. Yeah.
So as an adult, like the backstory, like I went to Disneyland as a kid. So we're just going to eliminate that. That's a conversation for another day. And really, I don't remember much about it anyway. So when I first started going as an adult, I believe I was 30-ish years old, 31 around that. So it's been a decade,
a baby.
At least. Yeah. Let's just, and I went with my family. Actually, I went with my mom and my dad, and then my brother and his wife and their kids as well. So we went as a little tribe. We went to Disney World. We stayed at the All-Star Movies Resort.
Which section? Do you remember the movie?
Oh, good question. I think it was the 101 Dalmatians over there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Wow, that's really testing my memory skills right now. But yeah, so I think it was there. And we kind of did all of the things while we were there. It was a very, first timers, like looking back on it now, we just exhausted ourselves trying to do everything. Meltdowns were had, drinks were thrown
by you.
In faces. But yeah,
by you.
100%. But it did absolutely like lock in immediately my obsession with going to the parks. In fact, we didn't know we just didn't know anything. We went, fast passes were still around, and so we tried to get what we could get. And I went in. We were there for like a week or so, and we didn't have park hopper passes, and so on day one I was like, no. we're getting park hopper passes. This is not I'm not that girl. So it was just, I dove in head first. Like I fell in love with it immediately.
Yeah. Interesting.
What about you? What was your first sort of experience going to the parks?
Yeah, so I mean, I went a few times as a kid. My first trip was at 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then I went again twice in high school. All three trips were with my parents.
Chaperoned.
So I was an only child. Yeah, chaperoned. And that last trip, the third trip, was sort of like a part of like high school graduation present. And then it was interesting. I had a long gap from that trip until my first trip an adult. wasn't until I was also like low. It was like, I think I was like 30s, like early 30s when I went the first time as an adult. Okay. And I went with two friends of mine who were also like huge Disney people. Because I was a Disney super fan even before my first trip at 10. Like I was the kind of like, I had been dreaming about going to Disney World my entire childhood. And that was, and then I had kind of like in between, those trips as a kid and the adult trip, I had a long gap of not going to the parks, but I still enjoyed like Disney stuff and I was still like a Disney fan. Mm-hmm. And then we went in 2012, we stayed at, actually, we also stayed at All-Star Movies, Patrick.
Oh, funny. What if it was the same year? What if we were both there at the same time?
That would be, oh my God. What if
it's possible. It's very possible.
Do you remember the year?
I don't remember the year. Okay. Yeah. It was roughly 10, 11 years ago at least. Yeah.
Okay. So was mine.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
That's so weird.
At the same time? It was early. It was like January or like late January that we went.
Are you that person I flipped off in the line at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad?
Probably.
No,
many people did that day.
Yeah. No, we stayed at. We were in the Lady and the Tramp section, which is right by the pool, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
And it was just like two or three of us on this trip. So it was a very like a tight little squad.
Yeah.
And it was my first. It almost felt like the first time again because it had been so long, but it also felt kind of like coming home again.
Sure. Yeah.
And from there, it was just like a snowball effect. And I've been going. Yeah. I mean, I've been so many times since that first adult trip.
What kind of planning did you do for that trip? As we all know, Disney World. I mean, you can, but it's not just a book a trip and go. It's, there's a lot to go into it. But if you don't know, you don't know. I didn't know all the planning that needed to be done. And so I could have prepared better. What about you? Did you have a better indication of what you needed to do to have a successful trip?
I think so. I mean, since a lot of it was so new, I had not been in so long. I kind of had a working idea of like what you could expect. We planned a lot for this trip. The friends that I went on with this trip are big planners. And at the time I was too. I think that's one of the ways that my trips have shifted because I don't do a ton of planning unless I'm going with other people where they're going to want to, otherwise I'm more fluid. But we planned a lot. I mean, we had dining reservations for every single day. If I remember correctly, we even knew like the quick service places we were going to eat at. Yeah. We knew what parks we were doing, what days. It was Fast Pass era, so we were there. We knew exactly what kind of Fast Passes we wanted to get in the morning. We wanted to prioritize. We even had like, okay, this afternoon is going to be Disney Springs and
Yeah.
Even down to like I had it even down planned because we had a little bit of like solo time in there, and I even had it planned down to like I'm going to go to this resort and take this boat to Disney Springs. I mean, it was very down to the letter. What about you? With going to with the tribe, y'all must have planned a ton.
I mean, we did plan as much as we could. Like we all went and sort of synced up what fast passes we were all going to try to do at the same time. But beyond that, and I think my sister-in-law did most of the arranging of things too, of getting some dining reservations and things like that. But it was a little bit sort of, because none of us had ever been, I think. I may be misspeaking. She may have gone a long time ago when she was younger as well. But as adults, we had never been together, and it was a whole new world when we were there. And so it was kind of a fly by the seat of your pants situation, which was, I'm glad that we did it that way, but we definitely exhausted ourselves too, because we didn't know if we were going to go back again or when we were going to go back again. So we were like, we're going to hit every single ride. You
didn't know if it was that once in a lifetime trip or not.
Yeah, I mean, and it was for me because like it was literally the first time I had been to Walt Disney World at all, and so it was.
I have to ask you, like, because, and I don't know if Patrick, I mean, I don't know if I know this about you or not. Were you like a Disney super fan before this trip? I mean, I know you went as a kid to Disney, but were you a Disney super fan before this first trip?
I'd always been a Disney fan for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think going on this trip though really tipped the bucket a little bit more into, you know, like a Disney adult kind of a situation. Because after this, then Adam, who started the podcast with me, he started going again, and then we started going together, and then we started the podcast. And so like it all really snowballed after this trip. This was sort of the catalyst of where I am now with Disney.
Gotcha. Got you. I mean, I was such a nerd as a kid. Like before that first trip when I was 10, I literally every year would read the Birnbaum official guide to Walt Disney World for pure recreational reading.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, like I would read it over and over and over.
Yeah.
I had that thing like memorized.
Oh yeah. I absolutely also ordered the DVDs because I had a DVD player. That's how long ago it was of the trip planning DVDs.
Yeah, the vacation plan.
There's like a different disc for every park, and you would just put it in there and look at all the rides. And I remember, I think this was just after or just before, I think, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train came out. So it was like talking about that experience coming out soon. And so it was right before a lot of stuff really started opening in Disney, because New Fantasyland, I think, was just a thing at this time in Disney World. So it was very exciting, and I loved watching those DVDs. I would just watch them like as a bedtime story, basically leading up to the trip. So I got so excited for it.
Oh yeah! Did you ever get, like when you were a kid? Did you ever get like the Disney magazine, like the Disney News magazine that would talk about like new resorts opening and all that?
I wish I had, but no, I definitely I wasn't there yet.
Okay.
Because Disney trips weren't really like, I don't want to say within our reach, I guess. It just wasn't on the plan,
radar,
I guess, for our family of going on a big Disney trip, because we're a bigger family and it's harder for us to get out there. And so, and as we know, it's very cost prohibitive for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't an option for
Were you
us,
going up
really.
to the Finger Lakes?
We were going to Alexandria, Minnesota, to our little cabin a lot.
Yes,
and, taking car trips here and there, but never a big trip like that.
How soon after that family trip did you take your first solo trip?
Like immediately after. Honestly, like when. I think at this point they were really heavily pushing when you take a trip, they like
bounce
email
back
you right away of like, the bounce back emails of like, book now and save 25%.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And so I booked my trip like for 6 months later, I think. And I went again and just started going kind of regularly, at least once a year for a little bit. And then it cascaded, as you know, from there.
Yeah. Is that when your experience with the park started to shift?
Definitely. I mean, I think the next couple of trips, it was still like, I really want to do everything, because it was still at this point where I wasn't an annual pass holder yet. And I was still learning about the Disney culture. We didn't have the podcast yet. I wasn't doing Run Disney events yet. I was still definitely a layperson, I feel like, in Disney for those first couple of trips. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was exploring stuff and new things. This was in an era where, 10-ish years ago, there was like a new thing almost every year that was opening up in Disney, or a refurbished thing, or something was down for a while, what have you. And so it was always re-exciting every time I went.
Yeah.
And so, it was a really exciting time, but I was definitely still a novice at going to Disney for a little bit. What about you? Did you start going immediately after again, or was there a gap?
No, there was no gap. Like, much like you, there was no gap. I mean, when I went back, that trip was, I just remember the year. It was Labor Day week of 2012.
Okay.
And as soon as that trip was over, I was like, when am I going back? Because like now that I've been again, we can't let there be another like time gap like there was. So I actually, my very next trip was a solo trip because I was like, I'm not going to wait around to find out who else wants to go with me. I'm just going to go. And I went I think it was like, that was September, and my first solo trip was the following February.
Okay.
I think for the first few trips after that trip, whether they were solo or whether they were with other people, I was in that mode of I'm a completist. I have to do every single thing every time.
Yeah.
Plus try this new thing that I didn't get to do last time.
Yeah.
But then it kind of gradually started to shift. Like, because the more you're there, it just kind of, you organically, your priorities are going to change, and
for sure
things aren't so like do or die, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Because you think like, I'll come back. If there's something that you miss, or it's like, I can skip this trip, I'll be back,
Yeah.
And it also depends on who you're with too. Like, I mean, the more you go and like you meet other people, or you go with different people and that kind of thing. And it's like your priorities are going to shift like almost every trip, depending on what it is. Like for you with a marathon, like you have certain priorities with a marathon trip than you would for a trip that you're just going, that you're not running a race, right?
Yeah, very, very. So that, I guess our next question leading up into that is like, when would these experiences and approaching a trip, when did it start to change or shift for you a little bit in that I don't need to do everything, right? Because for a while I needed to do everything, but now it's more like, I can skip this for today. So I guess when did things start to shift for you? And maybe how did they start to shift for you in how you currently start approaching a Disney trip, or how you behave while you're on a Disney trip, or what your expectations and your priorities are while you're on a trip?
I think for me, once I had those first few trips under my belt after that first solo trip, and I was making solo trips, and I think the priority starts to shift when you meet other Disney park friends, where you're kind of hanging out in the parks with people. My trips shifted more into, yes, of course, you're going to still do attractions and you're going to still do this and that, but the priorities shift into like, it's more of like, you're also there to see people that you enjoy spending time with and that you want to do the parks with. And so it's a lot of hanging out and just kind of walking around, and it gets kind of like we're here at this attraction, do you want to do it? And then I also think the priorities shift too, in that once you've kind of done all these things so much, like you're kind of more open to doing other experiences, whether that's like a tour, like whether that's like a walk in Walt's Footsteps tour, or like a Keys to the Kingdom tour type of thing. You might do some resort hopping and like go hang out at the rooftop bar at Topolino's or something, or Dahlia Lounge,
for example.
My parties have shifted to lounges. So I think it's like when you start meeting other Disney park friends. Like I think that's was the real shift for me. What about you?
Yeah, I think same for me. It was more specifically, I guess it would have been when I started doing my Run Disney trips, once I discovered Run Disney and started doing those trips, because then I started going to the parks on solo trips a lot more often, sometimes with friends, sometimes without friends. And then when you go on a solo trip, your priorities shift a little bit more as well, because what are the things that I specifically want to do that I can do that no one else necessarily wants to do? I take more breaks or go if I need to. And then, of course, Run Disney reprioritizes your time as well, because you need to get to bed at a certain time, and your timeline is a little bit different. And then I started making these wonderful friends through Run Disney as well, that we meet up with every time we do a Run Disney event. And like you said, our priorities then sort of shift, because we want to hang out with each other more and not just sit next to each other on a ride all the time. We want to actually have conversations, because we live in different parts of the country and we're on a Run Disney timeline. It definitely shifted more towards, let's just walk around the park and we'll get those experience, like the Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, the things that we really want to do. And then if we go on 2 rides a day, that's still a great day, because we're just hanging out together, and we're in Disney in this place that's sort of, I don't know what the word is. It's sort of like, is a catalyst for friendship and communication and different conversations that you normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, no, I mean, and can I say, like, those are my favorite experiences at the parks now. I mean, I think back to when we were all in Disneyland for D23 back in 2021, was it? Or 2022, sorry. And I just think my favorite memories from that trip were me and you and Melanie and our friends Laddie and Mackenzie and Nick and Dave and all, and just like us all hanging out and like having a meal or having cocktails. Like that's what I remember from that trip. I honestly can tell you, I don't remember, like, I mean, I've ridden all those, I've done those attractions many times. I don't remember those specific experiences on that trip doing those attractions, but I remember the times that we all spent together, just like having fun and talking.
100%. And I realize this as we're talking about it, that we are very privileged to be able to say this now because we've gotten to go so many times. I almost wish that I had that sort of magical first time experience over and over again. You know what I mean? Because there is something very visceral in your memory about like, oh, I can absolutely remember seeing the castle for the first time, going on whatever ride for the first time. And now those just magical experiences have shifted into, as you said, it's more memories with your friends than it is necessarily a specific Disney moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think that also, you know, there's no right or wrong way to experience the Disney parks, right? It's whatever is right for you, you know?
Yeah. Well, I would say there is a wrong way. The wrong way is to do things that you don't want to do. Honestly,
well, no, that's true. That's true. Yes.
Like, speak up for yourself on a Disney trip. If you don't want to do something, just sit it out and go do something else, because you will find something different and better while your friends are on a ride you don't want to go on.
Exactly.
I promise.
You know what? Go eat ice cream while they're on the ride.
Go eat ice cream, because who knows? You may run into Tinkerbell or Mickey Mouse, and
you never know.
Missed out on that. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So now that we are going a lot more frequently, and have different priorities in mind, do you do much planning ahead of time now, or what does planning look like for you these days?
For me, I don't do a ton when I go now. I mean, I kind of have like a rough sketch idea of how the trip is probably, like, let's say it depends. Again, if you're going with other people, you know, you're kind of like working together to make the trip what it's going to be. So there's probably more planning involved if I'm specifically going with other people. Yeah. If I'm just going down on a solo trip and I'm also going to hang out with other people that are going to be down there, I keep the plans pretty loose. I kind of have like a rough idea. I might make a couple of dining reservations. Like, if I'll talk with somebody ahead of time, be like, hey, do we want to try to like do this restaurant or something? Yeah. You know, or, you know, I might have a kind of general idea of what park I'm going to do on what day. Of course, you know, during COVID and following that, you kind of had to know what park you were doing on what day, because you had to make a reservation. But, you know, in an ideal world, I would just kind of have a rough sketch. What about you?
Yeah, I think I definitely used to be a plan out every minute of the day kind of a person, and I've definitely shifted into more of a whatever. I will be happy doing whatever as long as I'm with the people I want to be with. That being said, my friend Justin, who I think I go to the parks most frequently with, who does the Run Disney, he's been on the show before. Yeah, he is a very good planner in that, like, he grabs all the dining reservations and then we narrow it down from there, and he sort of takes care of all that stuff. It would be a disaster without him on a trip. I feel like I wouldn't know what to do anymore. Yeah. But now that he sort of takes care of that, and thank you, Justin, if you're listening, and his wonderful husband, Jack, who is also a good friend of mine, my stress has changed, I think, from not that I stress necessarily in a Disney park, but planning used to be my stress going into a Disney park. And now I think my stress is more, am I with the people I want to be with? Because nothing will ruin a Disney day quicker than someone who's got like a bad attitude or who is not sort of fitting in with the group that you're with. It can really change the dynamic. And unfortunately, like, that sort of stresses me out. Luckily, I go with a great group of people, and so it's rarely an issue. You know,
is this a roundabout way? Are you trying to tell me something?
You can't sit with us. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, I love going to the park. You're great to hang out with, because you and I both are. Although it's sort of like the blind leading the blind, in that we're both like, I don't know what I want to do. Let's just go wherever. It'll usually lead us to a bar at some point.
Yeah, I'm like, is there a Tweedle that knows that can tell us what to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does usually lead us to a bar or a lounge.
It will.
Which is
In which
fine.
case, great. Yeah. We will find our way
Yeah.
to Manhattan at some point.
Oh,
Do
yes.
do you have, now that you go more frequently as well, I imagine your resort opinions have changed in that, not that there's anything wrong. The All-Star
No.
resorts are actually great. There is not a bad
Yeah.
resort at the Walt Disney Resorts. Let me just blanket statement that right now.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
However, I definitely have come to desire different resorts now. What about you? Are you that way as well?
100%. And I will, it also, that's another thing that kind of depends on what kind of trip you're planning to have.
Good point.
I mean, like I am not ever opposed to being a Pop Century girly because it's like, it's solid. You know what to expect. It's on the Skyliner, which is a huge like plus. And it's like, if you are planning to be in the parks like a ton and it's going to be like a go trip, I mean, Pop Century is like probably one of the best ways to go. Now, is that going to be my top choice? Probably not. I mean, I will say there are Animal Kingdom Lodge is probably my favorite resort just from a total complete experience. It just is like it's like you don't even feel, you just feel like you're in some other place and it's so all encompassing. I will say the only thing that's not great about that is it's like bus service everywhere and it's a little inconveniently located. It's a hike. Now I've really come over the last several years to prefer a resort that's on the Skyliner, which would mean either Pop Century or Caribbean Beach. I mean, would I want to stay at the Riviera Resort? Yes.
I mean,
is that in the budget always? No.
or Art of Animation also.
Or Art of Animation. Yeah. And I have stayed there a couple of times. I love this. I like the convenience of being on the Skyliner.
Yes, same.
And so, and Caribbean Beach is kind of a nice middle ground, like cost effective place on the Skyliner.
Sure.
Where you get a little bit more of an elevated experience. And I also, I love their kind of central area that's been kind of redone. I love Sebastian's Bistro. I think it's a great spot. I will say though, Patrick, you did turn me into a Gran Destino fan because I stayed there the last time I was there, and there's something about it that is just pretty incredible. It's like a deluxe resort without the deluxe pricing, and it just feels a little more elevated. And
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it does depend on what kind of a trip you're taking. Because for me, I mean, quite honestly, most of the time I'm really only in the hotel to sleep.
Right.
And to bathe. Like I'm not there very often. And so I'm not opposed to staying at the All-Star resorts. They're absolutely great. You're not going to have a bad experience.
No, you're not.
And they're a little bit smaller too. I don't love the expansive resorts where sometimes you're like, I might have to walk 4 miles to get to wherever. That's why Caribbean Beach sort of scares me a little bit because it's so enormous and expansive, and I don't know my way around it. So I'll have to go with you sometime to
for sure
navigate it better. But definitely, I think I have come to like Coronado Springs. The Grand Destino Tower is definitely my home go-to, because when you're in the tower, you're just right there. There's a restaurant there. There's breakfast there. It's a really lovely, relaxing, quiet hotel as well. And the bus is right there. And so it has everything that I need. And that tends to be what sways me in a Disney park is it easy to get to?
Yes.
Is it easy to walk to the bus? Is there food options that are going to be available for when I need them to be available? Like those things start to come into play. Whereas before I was a lot looser in whatever, I'll stay wherever.
It's like, how much time do you want to spend at the resort? If you're planning to spend a ton of time at the resort, you might want to think about throwing in some extra money and staying somewhere where there's like a lot to do at a resort, or that you want to be at, right?
Yeah. Are you going to park hop a lot? If so, you may want a centrally located resort as well. So it really depends on where you are.
And if you're talking about like compactness of a resort to easily get to like the bus stop, that's a plus for like French Quarter, because that's a pretty compact resort with like one bus stop.
Yeah.
Now Riverside's a different story. That's one of those really expansive ones, but French Quarter is pretty all compact and tight.
Yeah. Well, so before we had a lot of Tweedle questions that came in for some questions of PeterPanswers, but a couple of more questions for us as we talk about this and lead us into it. What are some things that you maybe prioritized before that you definitely are like, I don't need to do it anymore? If it comes up, great. If not, I'm not going to cry.
I think there's probably certain attractions.
Sure.
I can't, I mean, there's none like just right. I think just attractions in general. I mean, there's some attractions you're going to always want to do, but I think a lot of attractions, like, you'll eventually get, and again, I get that we're really privileged to be able to say this. Like you'll
saying now. Yeah.
You'll just get to, and it's fine. But if you don't, it's okay. Like I don't have to do Rock and Roller Coaster every trip. Like,
fair.
I don't have to do, we talked about this, I don't have to do Test Track every trip,
Yeah.
There, so I think that's kind of I don't have to watch the parade every trip. If I happen to catch it, great. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
I'll enjoy myself, but it's not like, oh my God, we've got to get here at 2:15 to get a spot to watch the parade.
Very that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've stumbled on that parade enough. I mean, I've stumbled on it so many times, and honestly, it's been inconvenient. Because I can't get to where I want to go.
More often than not, it's like another parade. No, I will say though, when I do stumble upon it, I do love watching the Festival of Fantasy Parade.
Absolutely, yeah.
In Walt Disney World. I've yet to see the Disneyland parade because it's always been down since I've been going to Disneyland now.
Same.
So.
Yeah, I saw it maybe one trip, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say for me, this might be controversial, but it's the nighttime spectaculars. I'm okay missing them now because as I get older in my twilight years, I definitely am prioritizing rest a lot more than I used to. And though I love the nighttime spectaculars, and I think I'm going to be able to finally see some this trip.
Yeah.
I don't love trying to get back to the resort after a nighttime spectacular.
Yeah.
Like the two are like one can't go without the other.
I totally get it.
And so I'm okay. I'm okay missing it because I know what it looks like. I've seen it already. Again, this is the privilege coming in of like I've seen it already, and so I'm okay missing that. I would rather have a rested night than stay up way too late trying to get home and stressing about getting home. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I have a little middle ground there in that I will always take an opportunity to see the nighttime spectaculars because I just love them so much. But I don't need to prioritize having the best viewing spot anymore.
No, I won't sit and wait for 2 hours to watch
Absolutely
the show.
not.
Yeah.
I will roll up to the rail at World Showcase Lagoon at 8:59. I don't care. Unless I'm with people that have never seen it and you really want to give them the experience.
Yeah.
But other than that, I will roll up and just like wherever I'm at, that's where we're going to watch it.
I love it. So I guess on the flip side, this is an impromptu question. Is there something that you prioritize now that you didn't prioritize before?
Oh,
I know.
Great question.
Kudos, Mama, for spilling, for asking.
Kudos, Mama. Kudos, Mama, for asking, for inquiring.
Thank you. So I would say, to kick us off into it, I would say a nice dinner, like at least one nice dinner, relaxing dinner, I would say, at a restaurant that's quiet and you can just sit down and kick back and spend an hour and a half at least sitting down and chatting with your friends. I would prioritize that now. Whereas before I was like, what are we doing wasting time eating food?
I mean, I would say I have always prioritized that because, I mean, again, I was such a nerd as a kid. I loved like being an adult and going to a restaurant and like, but I would say, I think something I prioritize today, I mean, besides just like spending time with friends, I mean, I think maybe trying, and this kind of leads into another one of our one of these last questions before we get to our Tweedles questions is, I think I prioritize trying to expand where I eat because I've always tended to go back to the same places and I always want to make sure that I am expanding my experiences and trying something
We're creatures
new.
Of habit. Yeah.
Like going out of my way to try something new because I can be a creature of habit at the parks because you like what you like and that's fair. Like you like what you like.
Yeah.
And you're paying money for it. So, you're going to enjoy the experience. So I think that's probably something I prioritize is like what new experience am I doing this time that I have it? Because there's still so many experiences that we haven't done, which that's actually a great lead into this question, Patrick. It's like, is there something that you have not done that someone listening would be surprised that you haven't done?
Yeah,
at the parks, specifically the domestic parks, because neither one of us have been to Tokyo or Shanghai or Hong Kong.
Truth. Yeah.
But is there something here that you have not done that people would be surprised at? And I'll answer too.
Yeah. I'm sure there's many. The one thing that comes to mind is I've not done that iconic hot air balloon that's in Disney Springs. And I've always kind of wanted to do that. I've not done
the characters in flight.
The characters in flight. Is that what it's called still? I don't even know what it is.
I think that last I heard.
Okay,
we're both characters in flight.
We sure are. Well, every once in a while, we sure are. I've not done that.
Okay.
I'm trying to rack my brain. What's on your list of things you haven't done?
I think for me, the first thing that comes to mind is another iconic Disney experience, and that's the Hoop-Dee-Doo.
I was literally just going to say Hoop-Dee-Doo review. Yeah.
It's amazing to me that as long as I have been a Parks fan, I mean, since I was a child, and I have known about this, I have read it, seen it. I know everybody I know has been, and I still have not done the Hoop-Dee-Doo music review.
Yeah. Same here. We need to do that.
Patrick, we should make a commitment that the next time you and I are in the parks together, you and I will go to Hoop-Dee-Doo. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think you and I would have an amazing time.
Yeah.
I think you and I would have an amazing time at Hoop-Dee-Doo.
I haven't seen all of the shows in the Epcot World Showcase pavilions. The France one specifically, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the new Beauty and the Beast sing-along. I haven't seen that. So there's a couple of those shows that I haven't seen. I haven't seen Turtle Talk with Crush. There's a couple of things that I haven't done.
Can I tell you something? So that is actually something that I do still prioritize every trip is the show in the France pavilion. The impressions. I love that so much.
Do you know what I've ever seen?
What?
Voices of Liberty. I know.
Now that's also a priority. Patrick.
I know. I've heard them sing every once in a while when they used to be out. Every once in a while they'll go out on the bandstand or whatever that's outside of the American Pavilion.
Yes,
and I'll walk by and hear them, but I haven't sat down and experienced them, especially in the hall. What's the hall that they're in?
They're in the American Adventure,
right? With the amazing acoustics,
the
and
big
really
rotunda,
yeah,
where they ask you to they want you to sit inside the rotunda for the best sound. Sit in a circle.
Yeah.
Fun fact. One of my friends from college, Bradley, is in Voices of Liberty and actually directs them.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bradley, I'll look for you. Maybe on this next trip. Hopefully, I'll be able to see it. I'm ashamed to say that I haven't experienced.
Oh, they are. It is such an. They are incredible.
They are.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think they've changed. I feel like they've probably changed some of their repertoire over in the last few years, because some of their repertoire, I remember back when they used to do Dixie and some things like that we probably don't do today.
Sure.
Yeah. Any restaurants or lounges that you feel like you have to go back to? Is there some restaurant or bar that you go to every single time? I mean, we're big Dahlia Lounge people. We're big Nomad Lounge people.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if not that I need to go to every single time, but yeah, I mean, those two are big ones. Yeah. And Abracadabra is a big one that I love to go to all the time. But no, I feel like I don't need to do them, because there's quite a few of them, but I like to make sure that I go to a lounge or a nice restaurant, so I don't know if there's any must-dos necessarily. But I have a list of love-to-dos. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What about you? Anything, or just those two that you mentioned?
I think I used to have some must-dos. I used to have to go to California Grill on a trip. I used to have to, go to La Cava, and it's great if I do those things. And I'm probably going to do those. Well, in California Grill, not every single time, but. Like you said, I have love-to-dos more than must-dos, and the love-to-dos, let's be honest, are probably going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find our way to La Cava at some point.
we rope dropped it one year, and that was
That's true. Yeah. That's when you know you're doing it right.
Big margarita at 10 in the morning. Who doesn't need that?
With some chips and salsa. What more could you ask for?
Yeah.
Well, we do have some great questions.
We do. Let's get to those.
that our Toodles have sent in. Patrick, do you want to kick off? You want to do the first one?
I would love nothing more than doing that. So first up, we have at Jedi Trousers. Hi, Juan. Asking, do you have a favorite spontaneous magical moment in a Disney park? Something magical you saw, a cast member being extra amazing, or just a moment that felt perfect and special? What a great question.
That is a great question.
Yes, for me, definitely top of mind. I don't know if you can consider this a moment in the park, but I mean, it is part of, or was, I guess, part of Walt Disney World, was when I went on the Galactic Star Cruiser. Sorry about it. I went on the Galactic Star Cruiser. The cast members there were so amazing in general, but there were quite a few children who had specific needs that needed some attention and needed some different care than other people would have needed. And the Disney cast members were so good at handling the situation or making sure that these youngsters were taken care of in an extra special way. Justin and Jack, who were on the trip with me, all like openly wept out of joy and happiness seeing this happen. Of cast members who didn't have to go as far as they did, but chose to and went that extra 10 miles, and not just a mile, 10 miles further than they needed to go. So when you see that happen, it's so wonderful. Take note of it and let it wash over you, because those moments are so special. And Disney does that so much better than any other theme park in the world, I would say.
It's true. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's so many. It's hard to narrow it down. I mean, I think that I do remember that first trip back as an adult. And kind of that whole trip was sort of like a magical moment, because it was sort of like a coming back home again kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
But I do specifically remember one night, and this was back, Patrick, do you remember when the parks were open? I mean, they would do like the after hours and the parks would be open like late.
The extra magic hours if you were staying there.
Yeah. And sometimes they would even be open to like 3 a.m. Like if the park would close at midnight in the summer and it would be open to 3 a.m. But like I can remember there was one night where it was an extra magic hour at Epcot, and they were open a couple hours past Illuminations, and me and my two friends went back over to Soarin', and this was super late at night, and they just let us stay on we didn't have to get off. They just let us stay in the seats. And roll it again.
Love it.
And just we rode it like probably like maybe 4 times in a row like that night. And that was so much fun, and just like the perfect end to the night. And but that was just one moment. That whole trip was just probably like felt like a spontaneous magical moment.
I love that. To add on to one that you and I experienced together, I think we talked about it on one trip when we were both there for the 50th anniversary, and sort of your party and my party both met up at Abracadabra and sort of just took over the bar, and they were so accommodating and lovely, and they took pictures for us, and it was such a wonderful moment, bringing it back to these memories that you're making with the people you go on the trip with. It's not about where you are, it's about who you're with sometimes. And it was such a wonderful, because we just all met each other's parties, and friends that we had talked about to each other before were finally meeting each other, and it was such a wonderful moment. It
was.
Again, like make note of when those moments happen with your friends, because that's what you'll remember more than being on Space Mountain,
Absolutely. I mean, what I can remember of that afternoon, I remember so vividly. And what I can't remember is just lost to time.
I'll remember it for you. I have those.
Thank you. Thank you. I think there are photos. All right. Next up, paging Mr. Olives. Mr. Olives, line 1. Mr. Olives, line 1.
That's right.
He says, "Greetings, gays. This is Jonathan, of course, our new Patreon member. Greetings, gays. Just found your podcast, and I'm embarrassed it's taken me this long. We're embarrassed for you. Loving your insights and personalities. Question for your Disney travel episode: are there any spots, bars, etc. in Walt Disney World that have been unofficially taken over by the gays that my husband and I should go to when we visit in May? We're going from the 8th to the 15th and staying at the Polynesian for the first half of the trip, and the Riviera the second half.
Oh my.
I am putting my adoption papers in the
Yeah.
mail. Just curious if you have any tips or secret spots.
Interesting.
You know what? I say any. If you listen, if you're there, if the gays are there, we're taking over. I mean, Patrick, we took over Abracadabra that day. That moment you just mentioned.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's any spots that the gays have sort of unofficially taken over. I mean, I feel like La Cava is becoming gay culture a little bit.
Sure.
Sure. And not just because there's the Neil Patrick Harris Black Magic Margarita, but it does. That feels like a gay culture spot to me. Just sort of intrinsically. But I don't think there's any spots specifically that have been like taken over. I mean,
no,
you?
I guess going to the parks in general, like it's gayer than you think it is. I don't know what your experiences have been in the parks yet, Jonathan, but you'll find your people. I feel like they're there.
Yeah.
Just be open-minded. Maybe get a gaze to the D pin if you see us in the parks, or a gaze to the shirt online. And when you wear that, people do come up to you and say, "Oh, hi, happy Pride," or "Glad to be in the family," or just take notice. Abracadabra can attract a lot of the gays because, as I think the boardwalk generally tends to be a little bit gayer, in my opinion. And downtown Disney, I dated myself.
Disney
downtown
Springs,
Disney Springs at night can get pretty gay.
For sure.
If you're a nightlife person, it can get also a little bit crowded.
Yeah,
La Cava, I suppose. Trader Sam's, kind of. Although I feel like it's harder to get in there, and so it's a hit or miss kind of situation. But
I mean, in terms of like secret spots, I mean, I don't know, like you're staying at the Riviera, I would make it a point to like, if you can't get the reservation, just go and sit at the bar at Topolino's, or go, even Bar Riva downstairs. That kind of is sort of an outdoor thing, I don't miss those. I mean, at the Polynesian, you've got that little spot that does the Dole Whips there. Don't miss Tambu Lounge. I would say, you know what, you're maybe do a little monorail bar crawl since you're staying at the Polynesian.
Sure.
You're
bound to run into family while you're there.
Absolutely.
I promise you. But I don't know that there's a specific spot. And Tweedles, let us know if there is somewhere that we're not aware of. Let us know. But I almost think that you have to go outside of Disney World, like go to an actual gay bar, because it's not going to be there's not like a specific spot that gays just know to go to.
But you'll find your Ohana.
You will. You will, indeed. Moving on, we have @SaulBassist, who asks, do you think Josh D'Amaro or Bob Iger have ever been on a Disney cruise? Daddy D'Amaro, I think.
Daddy D'Amaro probably has.
I've Disney cruised him, for sure.
So have I. He can cruise me anytime he wants.
Absolutely. But I don't know that they really understand. Nor do I, though. I've also never been on a Disney cruise, so I can't really.
Yeah, I haven't either, yeah. But Daddy D'Amaro can go on this Disney cruise.
Absolutely. Always welcome.
All aboard. PJW at WDW asks, what specific room type and resort would you want to stay in at any Disney resort worldwide if money wasn't an issue? I got you, boo. So at Walt Disney World, it's going to be, give me the biggest possible suite, whatever is the presidential suite at the Riviera. That's where I want.
It's wonderful.
And then I want the same thing at the Grand Californian across the over on the other coast.
Fair enough. I really want to get a room, and I think we'll have time to at least go explore it while we're there in Disneyland Paris at the newly opened Disneyland Hotel in Disneyland Paris. It's supposed to be spectacular in one of one of the princess suites. Basically, it looks absolutely phenomenal. So I would love to go there. And anytime you can get a room and you can afford a room, because I certainly can't very often. I've only done it once. Is a Savannah view at the Animal Kingdom Lodge is just spectacular. But my advice, though, if you're going to throw the money down, make sure you have the time to really enjoy it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it is such a specific experience waking up to have animals
It
outside
is.
of your door that if you're not going to take advantage of it, it is a really hefty price tag.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Like, unless you're going to spend time out on your balcony in the morning with your cup of coffee,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
just probably like if you're getting up to like get to the parks for, you know, rope drop and then you're not
Right.
going to be back. It's like you're not going to get what you're paying for.
100%. And your specific question is if money is not an issue. So great. Yeah. Give me a
Yeah,
big, huge
yeah.
suite,
Right.
you know, a 4-bedroom suite at the Savannah View. Then I'll
Yeah.
do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good times.
yeah.
All right. Who is our
Last
last
question,
one?
Patrick.
At Kenny Cafe. Hi, Kenny. Asking,
Hello, Kenny.
what's one bougie Disney activity you would indulge in during a Disney vacation? Expensive merch, a VIP tour, an Adventures by Disney trip. What would it be?
So he kind of nails it for me with that last one. I've always wanted to do an Adventures by Disney trip.
For sure.
They're because they are expensive, but it is just everything. Like I've looked into it and I've looked at the itineraries and that is definitely on my bucket list to do.
Oh, same, absolutely. I would love to, whether it's in Disney World or Disneyland, do a trip where I could do a VIP tour in each of the parks on one day and then one on the next day, so on and so forth, and then have back end days where I can then casually stroll through the parks as well.
Yeah.
I've never done any of the VIP big tours. I've done like the backstage with rhinos and all that, which are great, but I've not done one of the big, huge tours that you get on all the rides, basically, and they tell you all the herstory behind the parks.
What is
That would be
backstage with rhinos?
You literally get to go backstage at Animal Kingdom and get up close with the rhinos. I think it's up close with rhinos. I don't know why I said backstage with rhinos. you help them with their choreography.
Right.
We try on each other's costumes. That's great. But I do recommend that one. It's actually not very expensive, and you get to pet a rhinoceros. So, you know, what could be better than that?
Okay.
I love it. Well, that
This
was
has
all
been
of
great.
our questions that we got in. We did it.
We did it. I think like this makes me just want to go to the airport right now.
I know. I wish you were coming with on this trip.
I know. Me too.
But you can't sit with us, so
okay.
it's probably best if you don't.
Well, I'll stay here then.
Well, thanks for sort of kudos, Mama, for spilling.
Kudos, Mama, for spilling, for armchair traveling.
No, this has been fun to talk about. It definitely made me nostalgic for trips gone by, and then makes me excited for the trip I'm about to be on and trips to come in the future. And yeah, it really nails in that we need to really plan a Gaze to the D trip where as many of the hosts can be there, but specifically our Tweedles can be there with us so we can experience these magical moments together.
We'll make it happen.
We will make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, let us know, Tweedles out there, what are some of your favorite past experiences in the parks? What are things that you're looking forward to? What are your must-dos? How do you like to plan? Do you
How have your trips changed?
Right. Are you on board with some of the things that we said? Or are you like, same? I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Let us know. You can slide into our Donna Murphy's at GDTD Podcast or send us a voice memo or an email at info@gazetothed.com.
And Patrick,
Yes, Queen.
bon voyage.
Thank you. That
For your
sounds so, like,
springtime
terminal.
surprise.
Bon voyage. Thank you so much. I will send you a postcard. Wish you were here.
Aw. Nobody sends postcards anymore.
That's true. I don't have the time. I always forget about it. I always think I'm going to do it, but then I never do it.
You should do it this time.
Okay. I don't know
And now-
anyone's address. I barely know my own address.
You have mine, and now you're being held accountable in front of all of our Tweedles.
Don't hold me accountable. That's never going to happen. Oh, JT.
Oh, Patrick.
We have exhausted ourselves with Disney travel and 8 million
exhausted.
questions.
So tired.
And 8 million questions from our Tweedles. So this time for Quick D, we're going to ask each other a question and give our Tweedles a rest this time. We're not going to make them work for us. We're going to work for them for a change.
Okay. All right.
For once in our lives, we're going to
once.
do some heavy lifting.
Okay.
Here on Gaze to the D. Are you ready for my question for you?
I think.
Okay. Buckle up, because
Okay.
here it is. Okay, so let's pretend that someone is taking you to a Disney trip. Disney
Okay.
World, Disneyland, doesn't matter where it is. Let's just say Disney World because you're more familiar with Disney
Okay.
World.
All right. I'm already on board. I'm already excited.
Great. Now, what is the best way for them to completely turn you off and never want to travel with them again?
Oh my god.
Where are they taking you?
Oh my God.
What attraction are you doing? What are some great ways for someone to be eliminated from your Disney Rolodex?
Wow. What a question.
This is mostly for me, so
a
next time I don't make you so mad on our
Okay.
trip.
I mean, Patrick, I don't think you could ever make me mad on a trip.
I can try.
Well,
I'll try.
Okay. So I think you would force me to go on mission space.
I do know never to make you do that. Okay,
Yeah,
great. Mission space.
And following that, you would make me go eat at the Katsura Grill quick service restaurant in Japan.
Oh, you have some hate for them. Oh no.
Probably the worst, most bland food I've ever had on property.
I'm not gonna lie. It's not the best. It's not the best.
Yeah. And then just as Happily Ever After is getting ready to start, you make us leave the park.
Oh, don't be fireworks tease.
And
Don't
you
do
make
that.
us leave the park by like the overflow exit. That's like just boring walls and buildings as we exit out of the park.
This is so specific. Has this happened to you?
No.
Do you need to talk about it, JT?
I'm unpacking. I'm dredging up an old memory.
I was gonna say, are you worried someone's listening who's gonna be like, oh, "That's me"?
No, that's never happened. Yeah.
Fair, and it never will.
Yeah, no. Also, please don't make me sit through the Disney Mania radio hits before Fantasmic.
You're not into it. Okay. Fair enough.
Depends on how much I've had to drink.
You don't want to hear 47 different versions of Beauty and the Beast remixed?
It depends on how many cocktails I've had at Brown Derby beforehand. Have I done a margarita flight?
I think we need a margarita here.
Great.
This is good to know. Good to know. I appreciate it.
Okay. Are you ready, Patrick, for my question?
Always.
Okay. Patrick,
Yes.
you have an opportunity. You're in Epcot.
Specific. Okay.
Yeah, and you were mentioning how you haven't seen all of the shows in Epcot. Have you been to the one in China that's like 360 in a circle all around you?
I have.
Okay.
I have done that one. Yeah.
So I want you to remember that experience.
Okay.
And someone has given you the keys to the Blu-ray player, and you can go in and put on any movie that you want to watch and feel like you're surrounded by this movie. What is it going to be?
Magic Mike. No.
Fine by me.
I feel like I have an X-rated version and I have a G-rated version. No. Let's see. Ooh, great question. Okay, quick sidebar. I absolutely was like, do I need a barf bag for this China
dear.
Circle Vision?
Okay.
For some reason, it made me feel very like unstable in there. Because
wow. Okay.
I guess they're doing a good job because it does feel like you're moving around in a circle when you're standing still, which is a very strange feeling. Okay, back to the regular bar, not the sidebar. What movie am I putting on in Circle Vision? Oh. Trying to keep it Disney, I suppose.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but you can.
It doesn't. You're right. But I don't know why this came to my head, but I guess it's because we're in the China Pavilion. But the live action Mulan would be beautiful.
It
in Circle
would.
Vision.
Yeah,
don't
it
you
would.
think?
I think so. Yeah.
The cinematography in that movie is so. This is not a funny answer whatsoever. Magic Mike was my funny answer, but my real answer is the live action Mulan. I think that would be beautiful in Circle Vision.
Why not both?
How can we combine Magic Mike with Magic Mulan, I guess.
Magic Mike 4.
Mulan Mike.
Great Balls of China. I don't know. Wait, I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
I don't know how to cut that, so I'm going to keep it in.
That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated and help people find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. You can continue the conversation after this episode on Instagram at GDTD Podcast and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon. Shoot for Uranus.